Hello and welcome to another Retro or Underdog game review. Now I'm going to start this review by saying something fairly controversial, or so it seems. Need for Speed High Stakes, or in the USA it was called Road Challenge, is the fourth game in the Need for Speed series. Now the controversial part is Need for Speed High Stakes was actually my favourite Need for Speed game of all time. I mentioned that to a few people in the weeks leading up to me doing this review, and that seems to have caused World War III. A lot of people seem to think Underground or those other tuner versions of Need for Speed are more popular. Need for Speed 4 has always had a special place in my heart, I guess, because I started off with Need for Speed 3. Need for Speed 3 was the first game the first in the Need for Speed series that I ever played. So moving on from 3, I then purchased Need for Speed 4, which was high stakes here in New Zealand. The reason I think it was probably one of my favourites is because it was basically Need for Speed 3 all over again with a few extra features. It contains all the same tracks as Need for Speed 3 as well as a lot of others, plus similar modes. So there's the racing modes, there's the police escape modes, and the graphics for its time weren't actually too bad. I believe they probably used the same engine, as 3 and 4 didn't look that different to each other. The tracks themselves, this is a track based in Scotland. Each track is in a different area. Some tracks are in the USA, some are in the UK, some are in Germany for instance. This one's Scotland. And as such, they all have their own little things that make them unique, like road signs and pieces like that. Another really cool feature is they made the police in each area unique to that area. So if you're in America, the police will have American police cars with American stylings, light bars, accents even, so when you hear the police on the radios they'll have American accents, whereas where you play on a British track they'll have all the British markings, sirens and accents. There's plenty of cars to choose from, but the biggest strength of the earlier Need for Speed games is the modding community really have gone insane. There's a phenomenal amount of add-on cars created by third-party authors for these games. And these websites are still going. There's a very popular one, needforspeedcars.net or NFS4.net, which have got pretty much every car I've ever wanted to drive. So I'll show you a few of those. The graphics for the game isn't too bad, as I mentioned before, for its era. The physics are also pretty good. You can do a bit of body rolling, you know, a bit of weight shifting as you go around corners. I'm playing on my steering wheel here, and I hit that corner wrong every time. The steering wheel's not too bad, but the calibration in the game, there isn't any. The only thing you can set in the game is the dead zone of the steering wheel, and also force feedback settings, but my steering wheel doesn't have force feedback. You can't set the sensitivity of the steering wheel, and I would like a little bit more, as you pretty much have to set it full lock when you're cornering. Another one of my favourite features of Need for Speed 3 and 4 are the replays. So once you've downloaded your favourite car for the game and you're having a playthrough and you want to see how it looks, you can watch these cinematic replays. And the camera will change. I think it's time-based. It will cycle through different cameras throughout the race, and you can manually change the camera as well if there's a particular view you like for your race. We'll go back to the main menu. Unfortunately, Fraps always crashes when changing back into the menus, so I had to restart the recording. So there's several different modes of play. There's single race, hot pursuit, knockout, tournament. So single race is a single race against one or many AI opponents. Hot pursuit is you versus the police. Knockout is a single race where at the end of each lap the last person is knocked out of the race until the end. And tournament is just a race throughout several tracks going up through a tournament series. If we go into Hot Pursuit mode, for example, there is now different modes to choose from: Time Trap, Getaway, or Classic. Classic is 1 versus 1, you've got to race against another opponent as well as the police. Getaway is just you versus the police, and Time Trap is you versus the police versus also a time limit instead of laps. There are lots of cars to choose from, and again, for its age, the details aren't too bad. You can also see a couple that I've downloaded afterwards: the DMC DeLorean, which I think doesn't look too bad in the game, and also a Mitsubishi Evo, which looks very similar to my Lancer GSR. I don't know why the driver is a dog. The third-party person decided to do that. There's a few different options for each car as well. There's the police versions, so the Pursuit Camaro, the La Niña, the Diablo, and again there are pursuit cars downloadable by third parties as well. If we can find the Mitsubishi again. Other options you can choose from are the colours, so the author will include certain colours that you can change to. You can also mix your own, and also they will have certain options, like this one is removing the spoiler. In convertibles it will remove the convertible roof. Lots of tracks to choose from, including all of these bottom ones, which are the original tracks from Need for Speed 3. So all the ones above the raceway ones are new to high stakes. This is a really good one. The first track from Need for Speed 3 we'll set to night mode, because that's always a lot of fun. 4 laps is fine. And we'll start the race. Each track's got a pretty cool introduction slide as well as an overview of the map. And here we are in Classic mode. So in Classic mode we're racing, in this case, 4 laps against each other, as well as trying to avoid being pulled over by the police. In this mode you can get up to 5 tickets for 4 laps. That increases if you increase the amount of laps. And that's the police scanner saying the police are after us. So this is an American track, so the police have American accents and all American markings and light bars. And you can see the lighting effects. There's a little bit of tearing. You can change the way the lights work, whether they're projected like this or whether they're just sort of thrown out without using the projection. A little bit hard to describe, but just different ways the lights appear in the game. I think the lighting is quite impressive. As you can see, the police lights are actually lighting the road, so it's quite cool when you're in the car using the cockpit view. You can see the police lights lighting up the whole car. You can also play in reverse, just to make things a little bit different, and you can also mirror the tracks, and that's really cool because it makes the track like a whole new track. It looks like we've got the cops on easy mode here, as they're not putting up too much of a fight, so next time I find a cop I think I'll just stop just to show you what happens when you do get a ticket. There's also traffic in the game, as you can tell, and there's also a few cool things, like in this map there's a plane flies overhead. In some other maps there's things like boats in the water that move, and one even takes you through an aquarium that's got fish swimming overhead. It's these attention to detail that I think really makes this my favourite Need for Speed game. So the police chat is quite helpful, as you know who the police are after, whether it's you or the other guy, and you can also hear them planning things, whether it's bringing in the helicopter, spike strips or roadblocks. You also have these options if you play as the police. got kind of on a roll and forgot that I was going to stop, so I will stop next time I see a police car. The traffic density is changeable. It wasn't in the original game, but there is a hack, I guess you could say. So we'll stop here and turn around.
This is a warning. Slow down.
So that's what happens when you get ticketed. So we'll go back to the menu and I'll just show you the differences, again just because it's the little details I think that really sell this game. If we pick that Scottish track again, this time you'll notice that the police all have British accents.
3, 2, 1, go!
And I always pick night mode because the lighting I think looks pretty cool when the police are chasing you. When picking opponents, you can pick either the car you want to race against, or you can also pick the class, and you can see which cars are in which classes in the main menu. Of course, you've always got options of automatic and manual, so you can change your car to whichever you prefer. And the police scanner's telling us there's a police car just up ahead. So you notice the police had the British markings and the British siren as well. Another really cool feature of the game is the ability to stop the game and view your car. Great for screenshots or for showing off a particular car. So when we get up to the jump over here, we'll get airborne, and if you bring up the menu and press F1, it actually hides the menu and gives you this cool rotating effect, so you can look at the car and maybe take a screenshot or just see what's going on around you just for effect. So I hope you've enjoyed this review, and I hope that's helped sort of sell the game if you look at either downloading it from abandonware or purchasing it. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye.